Today on June 9th, Archangel Michael told you to look into their eyes. What you saw was unbelievable. Watch now. June 9th. A divine day. A spiritual interruption. An unmistakable sign of what has been hidden, now coming into view. This is not a date written by men. This is a day etched by heaven. June 9th is not ordinary. It hath been marked. Marked in the heavens. Marked in the spirit. Marked for those with eyes to see and a heart to perceive. Archangel Michael, heaven's protector and revealer of secrets, has descended not with thunder, but with silence. And in that stillness, you heard it, not with your ears, but with your spirit. Look into their eyes. That command was not for everyone. That moment was not casual. And what you saw in that 1 second shook you because it wasn't human. It wasn't ordinary. It wasn't explainable. What looked like a normal encounter suddenly opened a doorway into the realm beyond. It began in a casual glance, but it became a spiritual mirror, and what you saw staring back at you was not just them. It was you. It was a reflection of something higher, deeper, more dangerous. Something eternal. Something divine. They didn't blink, and neither did you. The air stilled. The noise faded. The conversation around you felt distant. And in that space, in that holy gap between the seen and unseen, something moved. Not on the outside, but inside. Your discernment sharpened like a blade. Your body tensed, not in fear, but in holy alertness. Your soul whispered, "Pay attention. Don't look away. Something is being revealed." This wasn't about curiosity. It was about spiritual instruction. It was Michael, the warrior of heaven, pointing your eyes to where the truth was hiding. And make no mistake, child of light, not all were meant to receive this message. Not all will understand. This encounter was marked for those who have been crying for answers, for those who feel the shift in the air, for those who have been asking, "Why do I feel different around them?" And on this day, June 9th, heaven responded, not with a sign in the sky, but a sign in their eyes. You were told to hold eye contact, not glance and turn, but to remain still, remain silent, and trust what was rising in your spirit. Because this moment was a divine filter, a death, a whisper from the eternal realm that what you've been sensing is not imagination, it is revelation. You are not crazy, you are being calibrated. You are not paranoid, you are being positioned. And this is only the beginning. Type "I am chosen" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 666 is now surrounding you. Archangel Michael commands you to look deeper today, and within 2 hours, your vision will change. Hear now the trumpet that does not sound in the ears, but in the soul. The time is not distant. The call is not future. The time is now, June 9th, and the hour is already upon you. For the Archangel Michael, commander of the heavenly hosts, is not spoken by chance. He is spoken by assignment, and his voice echoes not from the clouds, but from within the chambers of your spirit. He speaks to the watchers, the feelers, the discerner souls, those who have always known something was off in the atmosphere around them but lacked the language to name it. Today, he gives you the language. Today, he gives you the lens. Today, he gives you the command. Look deeper. Do not glance. Do not guess. Do not doubt what you feel rising. Look, hold, and see. For within the next 2 hours, your spiritual eyesight is going to change. You will see beneath their surface. You will notice something in someone's eyes that will not make sense logically, but will confirm what your spirit hath been whispering in secret. You will see what they never intended you to see. You will perceive what has been cloaked in charm, in kindness, in imitation. And in that moment, your discernment will not only be tested, it will be upgraded. For some of you, the one whose eyes you will look into is not a stranger. It's someone close, someone trusted, someone familiar. That's why it's going to pierce. That's why it will sting. Because Michael does not reveal the hidden to entertain you. He reveals it to equip you. Because what you saw in their eyes was never about them. It was about you. It was about unlocking your next level of spiritual sight. And spiritual sight only comes through spiritual obedience. Why did their eyes show your pain? Why did you feel exposed, as if someone had looked directly into the part of you you've tried to hide? Because heaven was mirroring. Heaven was turning their soul into a screen, so you could see what you've buried and what they've concealed. Your eyes reflected something divine, something disruptive. It wasn't just a look, it was an unveiling. Be warned now, not everyone is allowed into this moment. This is not a general announcement. This is a sacred whisper to the chosen. For those who do not carry the weight of purpose, this message will pass them by. But for you, the seer, the feeler, the one who carries the ache of destiny unfulfilled, this is your hour. This is the hour when everything begins to change. When your normal discernment becomes divine perception. When you're no longer confused by faces, because you begin to see spirits. Do not dismiss the strange sensation you felt. Do not silence the trembling that rose in your chest. That wasn't fear, that was reverence. That wasn't suspicion, that was spiritual proximity. You felt something awaken because something is awakening. You looked, and you knew. But now you must decide what to do with what you saw. This is a test of discernment. This is a holy invitation wrapped in an uncomfortable truth. If you pass this test, the veil will continue to thin. Your gift will sharpen. Your vision will stretch. You will no longer see people. You will see spirits, motives, assignments. You will begin to know who's for you and who's against you without them saying a word. Because heaven is not just revealing. Heaven is marking. And the marked ones cannot walk blindly anymore. The marked ones cannot be deceived by words or seduced by appearances. The marked ones must see, must sense, must sever. You're not being made paranoid. You're being made prophetic. So hold the gaze. Still the noise. Trust what your spirit says when your logic hesitates. Let Michael lead your eyes to the truth, and let heaven confirm it in your gut. Your flesh may tremble, but your spirit already knows. What comes next depends on your willingness to see without flinching. You are not just observing. You are being observed. And this is not just a moment. It is a marking. Type I am anointed in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1122 is now activated. When you looked into their eyes, something inside you shifted. And you haven't been the same since. It didn't make sense at first. The discomfort you felt. The hesitation. The invisible tension that wrapped itself around your chest when you locked eyes with them. It wasn't anything they said. It wasn't anything they did. It was something unspoken. Something that passed like a silent vibration between their gaze and your spirit. You tried to dismiss it. You tried to explain it away. But deep inside, your soul whispered, "Pay attention." That was not normal. And it wasn't. When Archangel Michael instructed you to look into their eyes, he wasn't sending you on a mission of accusation. He was guiding you into a moment of discernment disruption, a divine disturbance. Because what you saw wasn't just a pair of eyes. What you saw was a curtain lifting, a veil tearing, and it rattled you. You felt like their eyes were telling you a story, but not theirs. Yours. You saw your pain in their stare. You saw your questions echoing silently back at you. And yet, it felt foreign, like your own reflection had been stolen and imprisoned behind someone else's face. It was unsettling. It was holy. It was disruptive in the deepest sense. Because in that moment, your emotions could no longer stay dormant. You began to question, why did I see betrayal in their eyes when they've never betrayed me? Why did I feel fear when they smiled? Why did their presence suddenly feel like a prophecy, not a person? You weren't imagining it. That confusion you felt wasn't mental chaos, it was spiritual recalibration. Heaven was adjusting your frequency to discern at a higher level. You're not just being warned, you're being trained. Your discernment is no longer a whisper. It's a clarion call. Because they weren't just looking at you, they were carrying something. And your spirit felt it. The guilt, the shame, the duality in their soul. Their face may have smiled, but their spirit trembled. And when you looked deeper, it was like the truth tried to crawl out through their pupils, but couldn't find its way past their mask. That's why their behavior felt strange afterward. Their sudden withdrawal, their awkward glances, the deflection, the uneasy laughter. It's not paranoia, it's confirmation. The spirit world knows when it's been exposed. The eyes are the windows to the soul, and when your gaze met theirs, something ancient awakened. That was not a coincidence. And then the ripple began. Other people around you, even those not directly involved, began to act strangely. You noticed it. Random people avoiding eye contact. An unexplained silence during conversations. People looking at you like they knew something you did. It started to feel like reality itself was rearranging, as if some unseen truth was hiding just behind the curtain of your day-to-day life. This is not illusion. This is spiritual intersection. Heaven is touching earth. The unseen is pressing against the seen. And you, child of revelation, are standing on the border between both. Confusion is the final emotion before clarity. You are being refined, tested, strengthened. And yes, it feels like you're losing grip on what's real. But that's because what you called real was illusion. What you called safe was actually deception. And now, Michael is tearing that veil apart. You're not losing your mind, you're gaining your sight. What felt like emotional disturbance was divine disruption. You were never meant to stay numb. You were never meant to accept shadows as truth. You were always meant to see. And now you are being spiritually confronted, not by what's around you, but by what's within you. If this message resonates with you and you feel moved to support, consider giving a super thanks with contributions of up to $10. Your kindness helps us bring more powerful content your way. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more prophetic messages, spiritual insight, and divine revelation straight to your spirit. Stay connected. Stay awakened. Type I am awake in the comments if this resonates with you. Blessing code 744 is now upon you. What you saw in their eyes wasn't a personality. It was a battle. Listen now, chosen one. The discomfort wasn't a warning sign from earth. It was a signal from heaven. What you felt, what you saw, what pierced you, it was not about them as a person. It was about the spirit behind them. You didn't just witness a moment. You witnessed a manifestation. Archangel Michael speaks now, not to frighten you, but to awaken the part of you that has been suffocating under the lie of logic. Because this was a spiritual trap, and you almost walked into it with open eyes and an unsuspecting heart. That moment of eye contact, that wasn't random. That was spiritual architecture. Heaven allowed it, not to confuse you, but to reveal you. You thought you were seeing a friend, a stranger, or a loved one, but what you were really witnessing was their internal war. You weren't looking at their face. You were peering into a spiritual collision happening behind their smile. They are in conflict. You are in calling. And the two collided. Michael speaks. What you saw was their spirit, and their spirit was not in peace. You are not broken. You are blessed with a gift most people fear, the gift of sight. But not natural sight. Spiritual sight. And spiritual sight is uncomfortable at first. It doesn't look like visions and dreams. It looks like confusion. It looks like tension. It feels like fear, until you realize it's discernment growing stronger. The conflict you witnessed was not yours, but you were invited to see it because you carry the capacity to intercede. What was hidden is now open. What was veiled is now unveiled. And the resistance you're feeling around you isn't rejection, it's recognition. The spirits in others recognize the light in you, and they squirm under its gaze. You've asked yourself, am I imagining all this? And the answer is no. You are divinely sensitive. That is your strength. That is your edge. That is your anointing. You're not too emotional, you're spiritually in tune. You're not making it up. You're seeing what others ignore. And now, you must understand this key truth. You are not being watched by people. You are being watched by heaven. The sensation of being observed is not paranoia. It's awareness. It's spiritual surveillance. Because when heaven marks someone, heaven also monitors them. You are not alone in your awakening. There are divine watchers assigned to your movements. Every time you feel eyes on you and no one is there, they are. Every time you sense pressure and nothing is happening, it is. The angelic realm is surrounding you, not to trap you, but to train you. You are not being hunted. You are being prepared. Michael says, stand firm. See clearly. Do not flinch. The battlefield is invisible, but the war is real. You are not delusional. You are chosen to discern beyond the veil. Others may call you sensitive, dramatic, or intense, but you know. You've seen. You felt. And now you rise. There is a war being waged over your perception. But you have already been given the victory, not by avoiding the truth, but by seeing it and standing anyway. Type I am a seer in the comments if you've been marked by this message. Blessing code 888 has now entered your atmosphere. You didn't just see something strange in their eyes, you saw something coming. A warning cloaked in a gaze. A shift disguised as a stare. And now, you must be ready. Hear the voice of the warrior of heaven. Archangel Michael speaks not to alarm you, but to align you. What you saw was not a passing glance. It was a window into the near future. It was a flash of something dark and deliberate, something hovering on the edge of unfolding. Heaven allowed your spiritual eyes to pierce the veil, not just to see what is, but to glimpse what is about to be. Because what you saw in their eyes wasn't just emotional turmoil, it was intent. Intent cloaked in politeness. Intent wrapped in smiles. Intent carried by someone you may still be tempted to trust. But that is why this word must hit you with full force. What you saw was a preview of what they planned to do. This is not about fear. This is about preparation. Michael says within 72 hours, the shift will begin. Not all at once. Not loudly. But subtly, like a shadow creeping along the edge of your peace. You'll feel it before it happens. A strange fog in your mind. A sudden fatigue that doesn't match your effort. A tiredness that sleep cannot cure. This is spiritual fatigue, and it's the enemy's first tactic. If the adversary cannot deceive you, it will attempt to drain you. Guard your mind. Guard your energy. And watch what is spoken around you. In this coming window, someone will say something too specific, too piercing, too personal, and it will not be a mistake. It will be a sign, a confirmation from heaven that the one who spoke it is being used. They may not even realize it, but their words will feel surgical, like they reached inside you and cut open something sacred. Do not dismiss it. Do not explain it away. The Spirit will bear witness, and you will know. And their smile, their smile, it will carry weight. They will feel wrong. A grin that feels more like mockery than warmth. An expression that lingers too long or appears too conveniently. This is the enemy's camouflage. A spiritual poison hidden in pleasantry. Michael says, do not confront yet, but prepare. This is not the hour to speak wildly or to act impulsively. This is the hour to strengthen your spirit. Your silence in this season will be your sword. Your discernment will be your shield. You must walk in wisdom, not wrath. Because though your spirit has seen what's coming, your flesh may still crave justice. But heaven says, wait. Heaven is not slow. Heaven is exact. And what is about to happen must be met with spiritual poise, not emotional reaction. What you saw in their eyes was not just a danger to you, it was a threat to your assignment. You carry purpose, and that purpose makes you a target. But it also makes you covered. So prepare your house. Clean your atmosphere. Burn what needs to be burned. Remove what is draining your power. Because in the next 3 days, things may not look different. But in the spirit realm, everything will begin to shift. Don't wait for the confirmation to come in words. It will come in frequency. How they move. What they avoid. How they look at you. What suddenly feels cold. Pay attention. And above all, stay awake. Do not fall back into sleep when the hour demands vision. Do not return to emotional comfort when heaven is calling you into spiritual readiness. You have seen. You know. Now it is time to prepare. Type "I'm prepared" in the comments if this warning finds you. Blessing code 313 is upon you now. Michael says, be still. Do not speak. Heaven fights for those who remain silent in obedience. Now is the time for precision. Now is the time for spiritual strategy, not scattered reactions. The ones who will be protected in this season are those who understand the power of sacred stillness. You are not being silenced because you are weak. You are being quieted because you are dangerous. You are not being told to step back out of fear. You are being told to pause because heaven is positioning your defense. The battle is already seen. The victory is already set. But the posture of your soul in this moment determines what you receive. Archangel Michael stands near, his sword drawn not for show, but for shielding. The heavenly watchers surround you, not because you are under attack, but because your revelation has triggered a war in the spirit realm. When you saw, you activated something. When you perceived, You broke a layer of demonic deception that had held others in place. Now, silence is your weapon. You must observe without reacting. You must discern without explaining. There is power in being unreadable. Heaven says, "Look, but do not speak." Keep your mouth closed and your spirit open, because what the enemy does not hear, he cannot counter. The moment you begin to speak too soon, you reveal your position. But in this hour, your stillness causes them to panic. Your calm causes them to scramble. Your silence breaks their ability to anticipate your next move. Repeat this divine phrase when the pressure rises. He sees. I trust. I rise. Whisper it. Declare it. Write it. Let it become your code. Because as you remain still, heaven is moving swiftly. You are not alone. You are not exposed. Michael is not just watching you. He is fighting for you. And his sword does not miss. His aim is exact. His protection is perfect. There will be moments in the coming days when your spirit will ache to confront, to clear the air, to say, "I know what you're doing." But heaven says, don't. That confrontation will cost you more than you think. Their exposure is coming, and it will come by divine timing, not emotional impulse. When heaven does the exposing, there is no escape. Let God be your witness. Let stillness be your stance. Let silence be your strength. Do not flee. Do not run. Do not hide. Stand. You are not standing in ignorance. You are standing in reverent authority. Your observation is warfare. Your discernment is defense. While they move recklessly, you will move in revelation. While they speak to trap you, you will listen to free yourself. This is not your downfall. This is your moment of elevation. You are not being passive. You are being poised. You are not being cowardly. You are being covered. And when the time comes to speak, you will speak from the throne room, not from the flesh. Pull back. Observe. Pray. Write it down if you must, but keep it between you and heaven. Let the watchers move. Let Michael war. Let God unfold the plan. Your stillness is unraveling their plot. Type "I am protected" in the comments if you understand this moment. Blessing code 1212 is shielding your next 7 days. You were shaken, yes, but what shook you didn't break you, it woke you. And now, it strengthens you. You didn't have to see what you saw. You didn't go looking for the eyes that told you more than words ever could. But heaven appointed it. Michael allowed it. And what was meant to confuse you has now begun to forge you. This is the moment when confusion becomes clarity. This is the hour when what once frightened you now becomes fuel in your fire. You are no longer the same. Something in you has changed since June 9th. You know it. You feel it in your chest, in your breath, in the way you now look at people and sense the unspoken. The moment you looked into their eyes and felt that thunder in your soul, something snapped inside, not in a way that broke you, but in a way that birthed you. The old you was pierced, and what emerged was someone unshakable. That moment wasn't just unsettling, it was a spiritual surgery. Heaven removed the wool from your eyes, the layers that dulled your sight, the emotions that clouded your judgment, the lies that made you second-guess yourself. They were torn from you in that one gaze. And now, you see differently. You walk differently. You trust less with your ears and more with your spirit. You are no longer easily convinced. You are no longer quick to trust the surface, because now you carry the eagle's vision. Michael says, Eagle eyes don't flinch at storms. And that is who you are becoming. Not a victim of spiritual encounters, but a vessel of revelation. You were trained through pain. You were called through discomfort. And what was once a liability, your sensitivity, your emotions, your deep inner knowing, has now become your greatest weapon. You are not emotional. You are spiritually sensitive. You are not overthinking. You are overseeing. You've been forged in the furnace of divine sight. You've passed through the fire of confusion and come out as gold. Refined, brilliant, sharp. They can't manipulate you now. They can't move you like they used to. Because once you've seen beyond the veil, you can't return to pretending. And let them call you cold. Let them say you've changed. That's because you have. You've stepped out of the fog and into the light. You've walked through the confusion, and instead of being broken by it, you were built by it. Now you are calm in the chaos, silent in the storm. You no longer react, you respond. And even in silence, your presence now speaks. I can feel it. Those who once tried to pull you back into emotional entanglements now stumble when they approach. You're no longer accessible like before. That's because heaven has elevated your posture. You're still present, still loving, but you are no longer blind. You now carry an edge of wisdom that cannot be explained, only felt. You don't just see people anymore. You see patterns. You see cycles. You see the spiritual fingerprints left behind when someone walks into your space. And now, more than ever, you understand that not all eyes are innocent. Not all stares are empty. Some carry jealousy. Some carry monitoring spirits. And some carry admiration that's actually obsession. But now, you know what to do. You discern before you decide. And you are no longer afraid. The enemy's weapon was always your confusion. But now your clarity is your crown. And in the season, heaven is raising up those like you. The ones who have been marked by discomfort and made stronger because of it. You are stepping into your divine courage, your divine clarity, your divine confidence. And Michael declares, you are becoming who the enemy cannot lie to anymore. Type I am risen in the comments if this is your season of bold vision. Blessing code 1771 is now active. That I encounter was not an accident. It was a divine scan, a supernatural unveiling of soul contracts and broken agreements. Heaven showed you what the natural world tried to hide. When your eyes locked with theirs on June 9th, it wasn't just an emotional jolt. It was a cosmic appointment. Archangel Michael stood behind that moment, silent but watching, waiting for the right second to peel back the layers and reveal what lay beneath. Because what you saw wasn't just darkness or deception. What you saw was the collapse of a spiritual contract that was never meant to endure. You were chosen to witness that unraveling, because you are marked. Michael says this clearly now. What they hid could no longer stay hidden because your presence demands truth. Heaven has activated your gift of exposure. Not exposure for revenge. Not exposure for judgment. But exposure for deliverance. You were sent into that encounter not to fear what you saw, but to free yourself from it. That look you saw in their eyes was their soul remembering the divine order they tried to escape. And when you stood still, held eye contact, and let your spirit lock into theirs, the transaction occurred. Your soul met theirs at a junction point of divine timing. And in that moment, the false agreements that were keeping them bound and keeping you blinded broke. The illusion cracked. The spell lifted. And now, heaven has released new instructions to you. Michael reveals that your next level, your next assignment, your next opening, comes through vision, not ambition, not effort, but through sight. You are not like others. You are part of the seered generation, the spirit-sensitive warriors whose perception is not based on eyes alone, but on spiritual resonance. And because you saw, because you didn't look away, heaven has granted you access to new blueprints. You've been handed the keys to destiny's surveillance. This means you're going to start seeing things before they happen. People's words won't match their spirit anymore. You'll know their motive before they move. You'll see the hidden contracts, the alliances, the betrayals, the agreements formed in shadows, and you will walk through them, not into them. You're not being shown these things to scare you. You're being shown them to position you. This is spiritual military intelligence. Divine vision, angelically guarded. That encounter was your training day, and you passed. And there's more. What you saw in them was a mirror into you. Heaven used their face to show you your awakening. You didn't just see their secrets, you saw your strength. You didn't just see their brokenness, you saw how far you've come. That look they gave you, it didn't just reflect them, it revealed you. You're not where you used to be. Your spirit is rising. Your soul is ascending. You're standing taller, seeing clearer, and discerning sharper. Michael says, because you saw now you shall receive. You are no longer a passive observer of your life. You are a strategic agent in a divine unfolding. Everything you need to see will now be shown. Everything you need to understand will now be downloaded in your spirit. Watch the signs. Watch the faces. Heaven is speaking through symbols and silence. The world may not understand you, but heaven knows your name. If this message is opening your spirit, consider giving a super thanks. Even a $5 offering helps support the creation of more powerful content like this. Every seed helps us reach more chosen ones. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Don't forget to subscribe for continued prophetic insight, spiritual depth, and divine confirmation. Stay aligned. Stay guarded. Stay chosen. Type I am marked in the comments if you accept this prophetic unlocking. Blessing code 9909 has now opened your path. I saw truth, and I did not look away. That confession has now become your spiritual key. Your destiny didn't just open through revelation. It unlocked through your refusal to blink. Something divine was activated when you looked and stayed. Most would have turned away. Most would have shaken off the unease. Most would have said, "It's just me." What you didn't. You stood in it. You held the stare. You allowed the truth to speak, not through words, but through spirit. And now, because you saw what was meant to stay hidden, because you perceived what others missed, your assignment has shifted. You are no longer simply moving through life. You are moving in alignment. This is destiny unfolding not by chance but by sight. Michael, the Archangel of divine revelation, now marks you as one whose eyes have passed the test. Heaven will never again let you walk blind. From this moment forward, your steps are being magnetized toward your purpose. You are stepping into spiritual maturity. You are stepping into strategic discernment. You are stepping into a vibrational yes, the kind that heaven recognizes and responds to. You're not just hearing things anymore, you're seeing them. Not just externally, but inwardly, spiritually, prophetically. Your spiritual eyes have been anointed. The film hath been lifted, a dullness broken, of infusion cleared. and now the map of your life is being rewritten in heaven's ink. You thought you were delayed, but no. You were being aligned. What felt like waiting was actually training. Heaven has been watching your posture, your stillness, your inner agreement. And now, because you said yes with your sight, your spirit is being released into new levels of impact. This is the hour where heaven calls you to act. Not emotionally, not recklessly, but prophetically. You will begin to feel sudden urges to write things down, pray with unusual intensity, or speak words that don't sound like your own. Follow those impulses. They are not imagination. They are instructions. You are being written into prophecy. Your tongue is being charged. Your pen is being lit with revelation. Your feet are walking roads that angels have already cleared for you. From this moment forward, you must no longer downplay what you see. You must no longer quiet the voice that rises in your chest when someone's presence feels off. You must no longer apologize for your gift. You're not arrogant. You're not crazy. You're not over-spiritual. You're activated. The Holy Spirit doesn't just visit you. He flows through you. He will move through your body like electricity in the coming days. You will feel heat in your hands, tingling in your spine, a sudden lightness in your chest. Do not fear it. These are spiritual activations. These are the manifestations of sight turning into assignment. When you begin to see patterns in dreams, numbers, faces, write them down. When strangers speak words that echo your private prayers, take notice. When something in you stirs for no logical reason, pause and listen. You are now living in the rhythm of revelation. What others miss, you will intercept. What others ignore, you will decode. And yes, it will be costly. You will have to walk away from some connections. You will have to be misunderstood. You will be labeled as too deep, too intense, too much. But remember, those who live in the shallows will never understand the depth you now carry. You are not called to blend. You were called to blaze. Your yes has now opened the next door. And heaven says, move forward, not in fear, but in fire. Type yes in the comments if this activation is for you. Blessing code 2288 has now unlocked your spiritual gate. You didn't just exchange glances. You exchanged frequencies. While your eyes locked, angels moved. While they spoke words, heaven wrote your name in fire. There are moments in life where the physical and spiritual collide, silent, invisible, yet earth-shifting. That moment of eye contact on June 9th was one of them. What appeared to be a subtle interaction in the natural was actually a violent transaction in the unseen. You thought you were simply observing, but the truth is, you were being witnessed. Witnessed by heaven. Witnessed by angels. Witnessed by divine intelligence that had waited for this very second. Michael now reveals what happened behind the veil, the divine exchange. While they looked at you and smiled, pretending to hide the truth, their spiritual mask began to crack. Not because they let it, but because your presence demanded it. Your gaze, anointed and fearless, became a spiritual interrogation. They felt it. That sudden hesitation. That flicker of uncertainty in their expression. It wasn't fear of you. That was fear of being seen. And in that exact moment, angels intervened. Michael and his warrior legions stood behind you. As you gazed into their soul, a transaction was made. Deception was revealed. Clarity was downloaded. Heaven took what the enemy had tried to plant in you and exchanged it for truth. The seed of confusion was uprooted, and generational lie was canceled. A hidden agenda lost its power. All in one glance. You understand now. What you saw wasn't just strange, it was sacred. While you blinked, heaven wrote your name in fire. Fire that cannot be erased. Fire that signals the divine. This one sees. This one listens. This one is ready. This moment was a divine trade. Your confusion for clarity. Your openness for upgraded discernment. Your silence for supernatural understanding. You did not leave that gaze the same. You walked away with something unseen. Something felt deep in the bones of your spirit. You've likely been feeling it already. The spiritual weight, the growing awareness, the heightened emotions. These are not distractions. They are signs that you have shifted dimensions. Now, you carry insight others only dream about. You are operating on a different frequency. People will notice it. Some will be drawn to it, and others will be repelled. Because your eyes no longer reflect uncertainty. They reflect revelation. And that makes darkness tremble. Heaven traded their illusion for your sight. And now, the enemy has lost ground. What they hoped to implant, manipulation, distortion, emotional exhaustion, has failed. Why? Because heaven intercepted it through your obedient gaze. You did not flinch. You did not blink. And because of that stillness, your name was echoed in the courts of the spirit realm. Do not take this lightly. That exchange activated divine protection over you. You may have already sensed it, the near accidents that didn't happen, the sudden rejections that turned into redirections, the closed doors that made no sense until you saw what was behind them. This is heaven's hand. Every time you surrendered your need to react and chose to observe instead, heaven acted for you. This is not superstition. It is supernatural precision. You are now walking under divine preservation. The moment you stepped into revelation, angels were assigned to guard your movement, your mind, your destiny. You're not just chosen. You are now covered. And your coverage isn't passive. It is activated daily by your obedience, your discernment, and your silence. Walk carefully now. Speak intentionally. Move prophetically. Because every step you take from this moment forward is tracked not just by men, but by heaven itself. Type "I am covered" in the comments if you accept this divine transaction. Blessing code 4114 is now inscribed over your name. You saw it in their eyes. Not just deceit, not just duplicity, but guilt. And heaven never leaves guilt unchallenged. What was hidden is now being reversed. What was against you is now being corrected. The scale is tipping back in your favor. Let this word enter your spirit like thunder wrapped in clarity. What you saw wasn't just discomfort. It was divine evidence. That encounter on June 9th wasn't random. It wasn't emotional. It was eternal. You looked into the eyes of someone carrying more than just secrets. They were carrying judgment. You saw it. You felt it. Something in their expression shifted when they realized they had been seen. And in that moment, heaven began writing the next chapter. Justice. Not by your hand. Not through vengeance, but through divine orchestration. Michael now speaks, not as a comforter, but as a commander. He declares that the hour of reversal has arrived. Those who plotted against you with quiet contempt, those who smiled in your face while whispering poison behind your back, those who saw your softness as weakness, those who watched your discernment and called it paranoia, they are about to see the hand of God move in ways they cannot explain or escape. The reversal will not come through drama. It will come through disturbance. Your peace will unravel. Your strategies will fold in on themselves. The guilt they tried to bury behind charm will now rise to the surface. Their own words will begin to entangle them. What was once hidden in the privacy of their thoughts will now leak out through their behavior. This is spiritual justice. Because heaven doesn't let the pure in heart be deceived without responding. And you, child of insight, child of obedience, you have been heard. Your silence was not void. It was your loudest prayer. Your stillness was not inaction. It was an act of faith warfare. While others were speaking lies, you were speaking nothing, and that nothing became everything in the courts of heaven. You looked, and you did not retaliate. And for that, heaven has tipped the scales. Michael says, what was stolen is now returning. What was twisted is now untangling. What was closed will now open, and not for them, but for you. This is the great reversal. The first shall be last. The proud shall stumble. The deceptive shall be exposed, and the humble shall rise. Not by shouting, not by fighting, but by simply walking in truth. They thought they got away with it. They thought your spiritual sight was just suspicion. They laughed when you went quiet. They mocked your distance. But what they didn't realize was that you weren't withdrawing, you were watching. And while you watched, heaven prepared your elevation. The reward for spiritual integrity is divine intervention. Do not be surprised when the reversal begins. It will come subtly, first as small losses in their camp, then as confusion in their circle. You'll hear of missteps, missed opportunities, doors closing for them that they once boasted about. Do not gloat. Do not speak against them. Simply watch and worship. For this is not your vengeance, it is God's correction. This justice is not about punishment. It is about alignment. Heaven corrects not to harm, but to heal what had been out of order. You were treated unfairly, and God saw it. You were spiritually mocked, and heaven recorded it. You were told to trust your instincts, and when you did, divine reversal was activated. Now is the time to prepare your spirit not for retaliation, but for restoration. Because what is returning to you is not just peace, it is purpose. The betrayal you saw in their eyes wasn't just emotional, it was prophetic. That look was the last time the enemy would stand over you. From now on, you rise and they fall back. Not by your doing, but by divine decree. If this message of justice and restoration has confirmed your spirit, consider showing love with a super thanks. Even $20 helps us continue creating and sharing prophetic insight like this. We honor your support. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel for prophetic messages, breakthrough words, and spiritual strategies for your walk. You belong here. Type I receive divine justice in the comments if this word is yours. Blessing code 3535 is now active and moving in your favor. You lived. You saw. You did not flinch. You were not broken. That moment of sacred encounter changed your walk forever. Now hear this. The seal is set. June 9th was not just a day. It was a divine appointment. And what you experienced, what you saw in those eyes, what you held in your spirit since then, it wasn't just an encounter. It was a commissioning. You've been marked. You've been seen. You've been sealed. Heaven knows your name, and now the enemy does too. Not to destroy you, but to fear what you've become. The old you would have ignored the plans. The old you would have second-guessed the tension. But not now. Now you trust your discernment. Now you walk with awareness. Now you listen more than you speak and observe more than you react. You are becoming who you were always called to be, a seer, a sentinel, a spirit-led warrior in human skin. Michael speaks his final words in this message with holy finality. Nothing hidden shall remain so forever. And to you, who obeyed when silence was loud, who remained still while others moved recklessly, who held your ground and stood in revelation, you are being promoted in the spirit realm. There is a fire now resting on your name, a flame that cannot be put out, a light that draws angels to your path and repels what is false. This blessing is not momentary, it is generational. What was a love in you will ripple through your bloodline. You are becoming the curse breaker, the light bearer, the one in your family who sees and speaks with truth. The silence you walk through has now become your roar. Your discernment is not a burden, it is a badge. Wear it, honor it, and continue to guard your gaze. For there will be more eyes, more spirits, more encounters. But you are no longer naive. You are no longer untrained. You are now moving through the world with divine awareness. So go forward, not with fear, but with fire. Walk with the blessing. Speak when led. Move with purpose. Carry this knowing deep in your chest. You are sealed. You are seen. You are sent. And from this moment, the blessing upon you will speak louder than words. It will open doors. It will silence enemies. It will protect what matters most. Because you stood in truth, now truth will stand with you. Type "I am sealed" in the comments if you receive this final affirmation. Blessing code 9090 now follows you wherever you walk.